All aboard, for this stagecoach is about to move out, and it's for everyone that has potential.
AC Fun Time, the stuff for kids just like me.
To these different topics that we be sharing every day.
You want to learn about your health?
Please continue to question everything.
Continue to tune in.
They are not doctors. They have done research, and they are sharing with you that what works for them. And again, the opinion that's on the show today is not suggested by AC Fun Time Superstars that you use it. But if you care to use it, feel free. If the food on the table tastes good and it does something for you, eat it.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the AC Fun Time Superstar. My name is AC, and every week we've got some quality, I say first class information. And we're going to continue where we left off last week. As I told you last week, Minister John Henry has got some information, and he's going to go deep in the water. So I hope you got your boots on.
Wrapping up with the topics that we was talking about last week about racial profiling. Just run into different situations with our law enforcement this day and time, as we've seen a lot of negative images being projected on our local newses about different incidents with police officers. They're not all bad, I got to say that, but yet we got to know and understand what we're really dealing with. Woo. And if you don't know the time that we're dealing with nowadays, it's like you're going to be off tune and off track. I hear that. We must now focus on the immediate situation of how not only to restore our community and our family, but how can we set the stage for the future generations? Our youth is our most valuable access, and trying to deal with different change in the laws that we facing every day. A lot of people are not aware that laws is being made up while we are asleep at night. Trying to be informed and in tune with the right and proper knowledge. There's two kinds of knowledge. You can have negative knowledge and you can have positive knowledge. The knowledge that I want to share with you briefly today is dealing with our local government, some of the resources that's been taken away from a lot of the people that's underprivileged. I will not say poor because we are rich in heart. So to address some of these issues with the minimum wages need to be brought up to about $15 an hour. What kind of stage is really being set up? And people are asking these questions. Why is our government is not doing this? Why the president is not saying that? Because being frankful with you is that there's another stage that's been set up. And that stage, whether you want to agree with me or not, that is your prerogative. You can make your own choice. All I will say, respectfully, is do some more extensive research on what's going on in all of our lives and in our community. We must now take the center stage that we can have more control over our lives and our community if we was given the opportunity to not only express ourselves, but give something back to our community.
Tell me why you stopped me. We'll be right back.
This is Bernard the King. I just want to say to the people how important it is for us to watch and promote shows such as AC Fun Time. This is an informational show. It's going to empower you, and we're speaking about rights. This time it can be, next time it can be about health or different things. So this is things that are going to get you empowered so that you can each one teach one and talk about what we're going to be able to do in regard to protect ourselves and help ourselves.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Jackson with AC Fun Time, and my advice to you is to question everything.
Hi, I'm Purcell Henry, and I enjoy watching AC Fun Time.
On AC Fun Time, the stuff for kids just like me.
We have come from one great civilization out of ancient Kemet, and we are the first and the last. But we can also give each other that handshake city one more time again here in South Carolina. South Carolina is right now is at its vocal point of all eyes is on South Carolina. What's going on here? What's going on there? And that's dealing with different circumstances, about some of the things that's going on that we're not able to see with our naked eyes. dealing with the cosmos, dealing with the universe. Everything is in tune with each other. So if we working and acting out of balance, if we're not setting the scales that the principles of Ma'at has been founded on, which is the original laws of the land, then we doing an unjust deed to not only Mother Earth that is crying out with, help. You know what I'm saying? We are human beings. We was put here on this earth to take care of.
It's good that you say that, because we're talking about statutes and codes and laws, but then you talked about the original laws. And then you spoke earlier about them making laws while we sleep. Those are man-made laws because they are making them while we sleep. But the laws that they can't take away from us, that rule us before these laws, is the laws that the originator, the creator, set forth. So these are things that are within us that we don't have to read in a book. We just know automatically, I should not harm nobody else. That man is hungry, I should feed him. We should do these type of things or whatever. And so the government that this kind of blinded us, that's like an illusion that we fell for, has its power is derived from our consent. So they have to ask us, will you abide by this? And we say, okay, yeah, I vote for you to rule over me. I vote to abide by that. So we have to not consent about these things that are going to limit our natural, God-given, unalienable rights. So these are things that the Creator set for us, the natural laws that we're giving up. And now we are abiding by the privileges of those who govern over us. And they do it in an unlawful way. It's like it's a blinding type of a system to where, we fall for the illusion because we got a nice house and a nice neighborhood. But yet in that own neighborhood, I'm Mr. Young Trayvon Martin. I can't even walk with a hoodie on because I look like I'm a thug. I can't even drive my vehicle without being profiled. So am I really free? I'm not free. I'm not free because I'm consenting to the laws of man instead of standing up and asserting that I have laws from the Creator, or rights given by the Creator. So when I stand up as a guy that says, no, I will not give you my driver's license because the Creator does not require that I do that, and I haven't consented to have you require me to do it. And so when he thinks he consents and he pulls a gun and he takes me to jail and I spend 5 days, that's me honoring the Creator. The Creator says, stand up for your freedom, stand up for your right, have no fear, and I will have you. I didn't eat for 5 days, and I didn't feel weak or anything. That just let me know that I'm stronger than I even know. But if you don't stand up to assert that strength, if on the first day I just went against my principles and ate what they gave me, then I never would have knew that I can go 5 days without eating and drinking.
See, we all are being tested, one way, shape, or form or fashion, into a system and a society that's trying to lay some social engineering techniques on each and every individual. It doesn't matter the race, creed, of color that individual, because we all here. When it rains in South Carolina, it rains on all of us. When the hurricanes come on, it affects all of us. So we got to start putting ourselves in different categories or different nominations that keep us divided and keep the community on a downhill scope instead of on the uphill scope. A house divided will never stand. My father used to use this a favorite terminology. He said, the blind leading the blind. While the conscious community is waking up. Yes. Our spirituality is being wide awoken. Just as well as we in the communication age, we also in that spiritual age in a great awakening. That's why certain things is going on today that we really don't see and can focus on because we not inside that realm. Calling for thinking outside the box is the tactics that we all need to start addressing. Get out of the box. Start thinking outside the box. Turn off those TVs. Unless you watching AC Funtime TV show, because he got a lot of things that he's trying to project out there so that you can have positive family time, sitting in your living room watching something enjoyable, something educational, something that's going to deal with our health, how to eat proper foods, what water we should drink and store in our homes when it comes down to preparing for different disasters in our community. So getting back to the society that we are in is a false illusion, and that was set up by different entities that didn't want you to know what time it is. Some say what game you playing, and it's all a game, but it's a game with human life that's being affected the most. We are human beings. We are here to stay. We are here to, like God say, to plenish the earth. Be fruitful and multiply.
Hold right there. We're going to take a break right here, and we'll be right back. But before we go to break, right about here, I'd like for Ms. Jackson to give me her famous word, because we are talking about being present, being focused. And Minister John Henry said a lot of us are sleeping. And please give me your favorite word. What do we need to do?
We need to question everything.
And that's very important.
This is strictly for the ladies. Each week, we'll give you a tip about men, how to spot them, how to get them, and how to keep them. But for this week, we'll focus on how to spot them. So my tip on how to spot men actually starts with yourself, ladies. Before you can focus on how to spot a good man, you must focus on yourself. I think too often we women spend time moving from person to person, a relationship to relationship, or even if that's not the case, I don't know if we really spend time with ourselves, get to know who we are. So my first tip would be spending time with yourself, knowing who you are, being tuned with yourself, taking yourself out on dates, doing those things just with yourself.
My opinion on how to spot a good man is mothers always says, when it comes to a man, you have to know what you're looking for.
Okay, ladies, if you got some suggestions about how to get a good man, how to keep a man, please contact AC Fun Time. And the guys were supposed to do their part on how and what they feel, what is a good woman. Well, we didn't get to do our part, but we'll do it next week, or maybe the next week, because some of the guys were kind of shy. But right quick, I want to tell you this. How do you spot a good woman? First of all, you need to know, what does she want? Where's she going? And how to keep her. I say continue to do what you did when you got her. And Bernard said earlier, improve what you've been doing. And then also, we've been talking about starting a relationship group, whereas we have clean fun and entertainment where we get the guys together and the ladies come and we have fun, and you meet good guys and guys meet the right lady. Hey, we're thinking about that. And if you think that's going to work and it's something that you might want to do, give us a contact, because we got a lot of single people out here and they want to meet good people, but they are busy. They don't have the time to go out, and there's not any place you can go that's safe and have clean fun anymore. But we're thinking about putting something like that together. Okay, we're back with AC Fun Time Superstar and Minister John Henry. I think you had the mic. If you didn't, you got it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We was talking about the law and what's affecting our lives, each and every one of our lives, and dealing with the seen and the unseen. Just as well as there's man-made law, there's also the law of the universe that we tend to neglect. Mother Earth and what she's really asking for, and what she expecting us as human beings to plenish the earth and clean up our environment.
Can I ask you a question? Yes. I didn't mean to take the mic from, but something came to me. Are you actually telling me that because of the neglect for the law of Mother Earth, the consequence is some of the things that we are going through, some of the issues that we are dealing with in the community, etc.? Are you telling me the neglect?
Yes, I'm telling you about the neglect of a lot of things that, we cause into ourselves either knowingly or unknowingly. And that we also got to pay a special attention to who's the key players that's at this table, that's making the decision in our lives, whether you're going to get this education or you're going to get that education. What kind of food is we going to put in Walmart? You see what I'm saying? That's going to be dispersed to the community. What kind of fashion, what kind of clothing wear are you going to be wearing next week or next year? So there's a lot of things that goes into structuring a society that we, like what we living in. And once you can start doing a lot more extensive research on a lot of things that matter to you, because what's inside of you is trying to tell you something. It really is. You got to open up that seed that was planted in your heart and your soul from birth, and it's been suppressed with this educational system. I will not elaborate at this time too much about the educational system. So, but let's just talk about the universe.
Come on.
How are we as human beings connected with the universe and the cosmos? Everything that's inside of us comes from the universe.
That's right.
Everything. You see what I'm saying? When you look at a freeway, what do you look at your arm? You see arteries. You see what I'm saying? There's a connection. And when you have scientists that study the DNA and the chemical makeup of human beings, they structure our lives. So now that they know how to structure our life, now they know how to control. Why kill a million when you control a million? So I believe that I'm not going to hit too hard with this, because you got to come back. Because when part 2 comes, I'm going to be dropping it. I'm not going to be sugarcoating anything. I'm going to give you some of the key principles that you're going to need to sustain yourself in this lifetime, and how to be able to handle different situations when you're being pulled over by police officers. There's a different tactic. What you have to do is reverse everything that's coming at you.
Wow. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. But, you know, before break, we were talking and you said to me, there's a lot going on in the universe and it has nothing to do with the law of the land. You said there's a lot of things going on, and I was trying to pull you in to talk about that. You were telling me that the consequence of not obeying the laws of the universe is the reason that we are suffering some of the things that we're going through. And a lot of us
Yes.
are not here because we wanted to stand up.
That's right.
And we wanted to make a difference. And some of us were silent and some of us were taken out. We'll talk about that when we come back. Be right back.
As I said and will always say, please continue to question everything, because some of us don't know our rights.
On AC Fun Time, there's stuff for kids just like me.
Please continue to tune in because these topics are important.
Come on out and tune in to these different topics that we be sharing every day.
These are topics that affect you, me, and all of us. Continue to tune in.
As I said and will always say, please continue to question everything, because some of us don't know our rights.
Discrediting each individual. See, as long as you comfortable, you in a materialistic society, number one, you're not producers, you are consumers. And the leak people are saying, wait a minute, we tired of these people being consumers. They're not producing anything. So they set up the stage just for us to be right where we at now as consumers, because that's what they push in our community. So if you planting a seed and you expecting for that seed to sprout out with water and the sunshine, the different elements from the universe, then you expecting that crop to come up. But when you're using social engineering and when you starting to slice into certain genes and you can't take from the original and expect for that copy to be original, we are being set up, and on a vast scale. If you think that you on your job or you in the government and that you don't gain quote unquote different status quotas, and you don't think that you're going to be affected by everything else that's going on around us, just like perfect example what happened to Bill Cosby. They knew what he was doing when he first came out. I'd be 55 years old this year here, but yet I remember Bill Cosby respectfully, and I still respect. That's my brother. But you allow him to do certain activities behind the scenes, knowing that in front of the scene that he was addressing millions and millions of African American children on Saturday mornings. You knew that, so you just looked at the ratings and said, long as those ratings go sky high to the roof and those dollars start piling in, you didn't have a problem with Bill doing X, Y, or Z. Now that Bill wants to be solo, he's getting up into the age he ain't ready to fight no more. Now you want to expose him just because he want to have his own TV show, his own production to start putting out more positive things. Now you want to slander him in public, so now that the people and the public can say, well, that brother shouldn't have did this.
That brings us to the point, Mr. Henry, is that they want our leaders to pacify us, not empower us. So as long as Bill is making us laugh and keeping us from fighting and to say that, hey, these things, we need to change them or whatever, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get his own network so he can have positive programming instead of having us in roles to where we look like the stereotype that the cops see us as, or that, you know, our Caucasian brothers sisters see us as, because if that's all they see us as on TV. It's all subliminal. So when the leaders, quote unquote, start empowering us or trying to empower us, then what happens is now the discrediting comes. Now I have to make them see that this man is a bad man. I have to, you know, do all these things. And when you control the media, which, you know, the media is controlled by about 6 corporations, all of it is owned by about 6 corporations. When you control that, now every channel that you watch, they have the say so as far as to what is the primary programming. So what goes in the main hours of the day when people are watching, they have the say so. The news that you watch, they have the say so. So when all you see is violence, gunshots, killings in the black community, and that's what the TV is showing, that's what you think is there. But no, we have people like us outreaching. We have people feeding the hungry. We have people doing study groups for kids and volunteering their time to uplift and empower. But there's, you know, what the sister was saying is that, you know, there's no reward for that. There's no highlighting. There's no putting that up on a pedestal for the people to see. They don't want to have a situation where there's hope instilled in the people, to where the people sees people loving each other versus fear for each other. So that's the whole divide and conquer code. So when I think that going into your neighborhood, I'm susceptible to get shot, then I fear going into your neighborhood. I don't want to go in there and help repaint a building or help rebuild anything. Or when I do go in there, when I see you, I don't trust you because you might shoot me. That's what the media wants you to think, you know. And so that's the whole divide and conquer. And that's what he's saying about discrediting those people who are going to come in here and try to shed light on the situation in regard to, hey, there's love here. There's people helping each other here. There's people who actually know their rights and who are asserting them. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. And so what they'll do, they'll strike that guy down, and then they'll put it on the national mainstream, which they control, and they'll say, no, this guy is a bad guy.
They trying to judge us, and they ain't recognizing who is giving out the love and the understanding. And our people need help just like everybody else need help.
So what you're saying is, actually, no one's perfect, but they keep the spotlight on the guy that they want to discredit, and they only show the negatives. And what they need to do is put the spotlight on themselves as well, because none of us are perfect, and all of us are guilty about something. But when they want to discredit you because you have become a threat, or because you want to do something for your community, they don't show any of this good stuff that you're doing. They only spotlight you and follow you around like a light and show all the bad stuff you're doing. But what about if we take the spotlight and shine it around and follow them around? Right. How would that? How would the table be turned then?
There's still separation. There's still division. So our goal is to be one as a people. We all came from the same source, no matter if it got corrupted or, spawned a bad seed or whatever you want to call it. We're all from the same source. And so in that respect, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all of the same family. So instead of hating the ignorant police officer that put the cuffs too tight on me and tried to set me up with the charges, I forgive him, and I understand that if you wasn't ignorant, you wouldn't have done it. So I forgive your ignorance, and now maybe my forgiveness will spark something in him and let him be like, wow. But I'm not saying that, hey, you don't stand up for yourself, and if someone comes against you with violence that you don't protect yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But hate and saying us versus them is not the answer. We're all us. All of us are us. And so no matter your skin color or your complexion or whatever, we were all created by the same universal creator. And I don't care if some of us came and was made in a laboratory, the universal creator allowed it. So if you're thinking and you're walking and you got a brain, then there's something to be respected in regard to a creation of the creator. He allowed it. So now we don't accept the ignorance. So if there is a person that was created and they're ignorant and they want to come against you with violence and take your life, then there's certain things, I don't know what the principle of Ma'at would be in regard to an eye for an eye, but maybe it is an eye for an eye. So if you coming at me trying to pluck my eye out, I get to pluck yours out. So that doesn't mean that a bad seed will be allowed to rise against me and not be. It's just like the finger or the toe that has gangrene. You don't let it destroy the rest of the body. You chop it off. And so that's the same thing. We're all about love. We all about spreading the empowerment of the spirit. When I say the spirit has to be in control and not the mind.
What you said just now about you forgive the police officer, that's a good part in your heart, that you are making it better for that person to get a clear understanding that you forgive them. But sometimes when you forgive a person, you can't really forget, because that was pain and that was suffering that you had to go through and bear with, and being in jail, you and your wife, and then you had to deal with the situation of your children being involved in all this. I'm grateful to hear that you said you forgive them, but I know deep in anybody's heart, it's hard to forget.
Okay, what I'm hearing is this. The brother is saying that we should forgive, but at the same time, we shouldn't sit by and let things happen and we just lay dormant, taking instruction from laws that they made up. And also what I'm hearing is that we are one body. This hand cannot talk. This mouth cannot pick up anything. But my hand needs to work with the body so we can get what we need done. That's right. My foot cannot talk, but I need to communicate in the body so I can function to do whatever the task is at hand. And also, again, I'm hearing that we shouldn't judge each other, because none of us are perfect. And if I've got a problem with you, I should confront you, and we talk about this, and don't let the system poison my mind to terminate you or to discredit you, because there's a reason why we do what we do. And sometimes some of us, we do what we do because we had a reason. Maybe someone did something to you, and some of us do things just jokingly and didn't actually mean it. And as the scriptures say, some of us do things. So what I think we need to do is find out the intent. And I'll go back to what the sister said again. Sister, please, in closing, what do we need to do?
We need to question everything.
And not judge it, but question everything. So when the system tries to discredit someone, the first thing we need to say to ourselves is, now, wait a minute. Why are they wasting all of that time and energy to discredit that one person? There's got to be more to it than that. Instead of just jumping on the bandwagon and everybody discrediting this person and not knowing why. Because I said before, none of us are perfect. We all are guilty and have a problem in some area. So we need to consider the fact that we all have faults.
All aboard! For this stagecoach is about to move out. It is for everyone that has potential and would love AC is your conductor.
Right here, Friday night at 12:30.
All aboard! All aboard! All aboard! All aboard!